What's up, guys? Alright, so today we're gonna go through a strategy video. I'm gonna give you guys this strategy for free. How you're gonna use it, that's totally up to you. So yeah, let's just go straight into the video, right? Okay, so this strategy is called the session maker, right? Not gonna lie, I actually learned this strategy in another way, but I introduced my own setups, my own timings into it, and modified the strategy totally to suit my style of trading, right? So I'm gonna give it to you for free, right? You guys can use it for free. I'm not gonna charge you anything for this. And let's just take a look at the analytics, right, of this strategy before we go through it. Okay, so where's the analytics? Okay, so it's been some time since I used this strategy, so I just wanted to test it out whether it still works. And yes, apparently it does. We still have I took 10 trades with this strategy. We have a 60% win rate. We made about 5k in just these 10 trades, right? So just count that like 10 days. In 10 days you made like 5k. Yeah, so that's the power of this strategy, right? But the thing is, you got to be consistent with this strategy, because like every strategy there is going to be losing streak, right? You got to understand that, you got to know that, right? And once I teach you this strategy, right, always back test it first. Make sure it works for you. You understand the fundamentals, you're confident, and then use it on the live charts or your prop firms or whatever. All right, so we took 10 trades, 4 losers, 5 winners, right? The average win is, I guess, like 1:2. Yeah. And yeah, this is the PNL, blah blah blah, and yeah, something like that. Cool. All right, let's go into this strategy. So as you saw, the 3 strategies there, right? It's the 3 strategies that I normally use to trade. So we are here on FX replay, and a few things you got to take note before trading this strategy, okay, is we will only be trading on the 3-minute. All right, I've tested this strategy on NQ and gold, right? But gold is more volatile, so you got to understand that you got to be quick with your entries and exits, all right? And yeah, I usually just trade it with NQ and gold. I've never tested out with Forex. You guys can test it out and let me know if it works for you. Okay, so how does this strategy work and what do we need to know? I hope you guys know what is CISD. If you don't, right? Okay, so basically CISD is, let's say the market is going lower highs and lower lows, right? And in the last leg, right, you see a few down close candles, right? You see a down close candles, and then you see one what do you call that? One up candle right here, right? At that point, that would be your CISD. Let me show you a live example. I know my drawing is atrocious. All right. What did I just press? Okay. I realized that there's some construction going on. I hope you guys can't hear it, because I can't hear myself thinking. It's that loud. But I don't know if my mic is picking it up. But cool. Okay, so right. So as you can see on the charts right here, right now, right? You can see that the price is actually going downwards, right? We have a higher high here, we have a higher low here, we have a higher high here, higher low here, higher high here, and a higher low here, right? Because of the swing points, right? We have a swing point here, we have a swing point here, we have a swing point here. Like, you get what I mean, right? So right after that, you will see the market moving upwards, right? So in this case, right, where will your CISD be, right? This was the swing point, and then this swing point closed, or rather swept below the previous swing point, so making a new lower low, right? As long as you see a new lower low, the last up candle before the low was formed is the CISD. So in this case, it is this candle right over here, right? That is your CISD. Cool. Same thing for the top side, right? Let me find an example for you. Right. Wait, did I just show you a top side? Oh yeah, I just showed you a buy CISD. Let me show you a sell CISD. Right. So yeah, I think this would be the most best example because this is the most atrocious price action. All right, let's say you have this type of a move, right? Where will your CISD be? It's super simple to find the CISD actually. You just need to find the highest point that the market made. All right. If you're going down, let's say you're taking a sell and you want to find a CISD, right? Just draw a line at the highest point, right? And then look at the right. Did this sweep or close higher than the previous point? It didn't, right? So that means you got to find your CISD on the left side. So what was the last down candle before the up moves of blah, blah, blah. What am I talking about? What was the last down move candle before it made the up move? Yeah, right? It was this candle, right? So your CISD would be here. So the moment you get a break, a body break of that CISD, that is where your CISD is complete and you can enter a trade, right? So this is how CISD works. And where do you mark the CISD? You mark it on the body of the last down move candle or the last up move candle. You don't mark it on the wick. All right. I hope you guys understand what is CISD. If you don't, uh, join the Discord. And yeah, I can. It's easier for me to help you there because I can go live and teach you more about CISDs, right? Cool. And oh, I can send you some pictures to teach you about CISDs. All right. So what am I missing out? I'm missing out something, right? Ah, okay, got it. So the next thing I want you guys to know is timings, right? Timings. So we are going to trade only during London and New York. All right. So take down these three timings. I need you to take down the Asia timing, the London timing, and the New York timing. Oops. Okay, so all these timings, right, that you can see here, take a screenshot, take a whatever you want to do, right? Just keep it somewhere. Okay, all these timings are in UTC -5, which is New York timing. All right, the reason why I use New York timing to mark my timing is because of daylight savings, right? So sometimes when daylight savings happen, if I'm going to use my own time, I'm going to be wrong, right? So I use the Asia, sorry, I use the London timing to mark out the timings and then change it to whichever country you're from so that you will know the timing according to your country. But always use the New York timing so that you don't confuse yourself. So these are the timing: Asia 10 to 3, 10 p.m. to 3 a.m., London 3 a.m. to 8 a.m., New York 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Alright, so once you mark that out, keep it aside, write down your notebook or whatever, okay? Uh, Next thing I need you to know, right? You're gonna mark it out. So, okay, this is exactly at 3 a.m., which is cool. Oh, it's not yet 3 a.m. Okay, cool. So, uh, I'm missing out something else. What am I missing out? Ah, rules. True. Rules. Okay. Let me give you the rules. Alright. Oops. Rule number 1. You only trade during the sessions. Alright. During that time frame of the sessions. Like we only trade London and New York. So you're just gonna trade only London to New York. Alright. Okay. Rule 2. if a trade forms 1 hour before, do not trade. Meaning 1 hour before session closes, right? All right. For example, right, we trading the London, and then let's say it's 7 a.m. now, and you have a entry. Do not take the trade. Okay, I will explain that why. And number 3, yeah. And rule number 3 is the most important rule, right? You only take maximum of 2 trades. All right, only 2 trades. Okay. The reason being is some of your entries. The reason why I don't use these as much as I used it last time, right, is because sometimes the entries are big. Like your stop loss would be like 50 ticks, and all that. So that is one thing that I did not like. But I'm not saying this strategy doesn't work. It works. You saw the analytics, right? So yeah, always keep it a rule. Only max 2 trades. So if you're gonna take London and New York, right? I know some of you do that. Try to only trade 1 trade on London, 1 trade on New York. But if let's say you're just gonna trade London or you're only gonna trade New York, then that's fine by it. You can just take 2 trades, right? Cool. Now all of this is out of the way. I'm gonna show you how it works before we drop into the live chat. I know this video is gonna be long, but you want to learn something new, right? You gotta be patient. All right. Okay. Let's say this blue color is Asia. All right. And then this is London. This red color marks the end of London. And then this let's say black color, right? This black color marks the close of New York. Okay, so Asia is going to be our key timing. All right, what I mean by that is when you see from left to right, like during the Asia session, right, you're going to see a high and you're going to see a low. Right, you're going to see a high and you're going to see a low. Cool. Right after that, right, we are only going to trade during London or New York. Okay, so during London, you actually see something like this. It goes up. Maybe let me change it to another color. All right, I'm going to change it to maybe what color should I use? All right, I'm going to use it purple. All right, let's say during London, you see it go up, or rather it sweeps. So it can either close above it or it can sweep above it, whatever. All right, it has to just break the high or the low of Asia. Okay, once it breaks, the next thing you got to look out for. Okay, I'm going to teach you the right way first. All right, next thing you're going to look out for is a CISD. So let's say it goes up, and then you see a CISD, right? If your CISD is super close, you can just enter the trade right away, right? Stop loss above the highs, and you can either you can just aim a 1:2, right? Or if let's say you are confident in a trade and you have your own ways to see a higher time frame PD array, and you want to mark the higher time frame PD array like the 15-minute 1 hour, that's on you. You can do that, right? See what works for you. But for me, I always like to keep it simple. I just go for a 1:2. At times I use a Fib tool to mark like the -2 to -2.5 level, right? Because that is where prices normally reverse from, right? This -2 to -2.5. Usually prices reverse from there. If you want the settings of my Fib tool, you can take it down right now. It's the 0, -1, -2, 1, -2.5, 0.5, and -4. Right? How I mark it, I mark from the swing high to the previous swing low. If I'm taking a short, short trade, if I'm taking the buy trade, is from the previous low to the previous high. Yeah, something like that, like you can see here. Don't worry, I'll show you guys later. Okay, so basically this is how the trade works. This is how the trade is formatted, right? You take a trade there, 1:2, and you enter. Another way, this is the aggressive way, right? This is totally up to you. You can use it if you want. The other way is the moment you see it sweep, right? The moment you see it sweep, right? And you see a inverse fair value gap, right? Meaning you have a fair value gap going up and then it starts to go down and closes that fair value gap, like a clean sweep, right? Of inverse fair value gap. You can enter that too, right? You can aim wherever you would have aimed if you would have took a CISD trade, right? So for example, this is a CISD trade, right? My -2 level is here, but let's say my inversion fair value gap was about here. You're just gonna aim the same place, but your win rate or your RR is gonna go higher. All right. So basically that's it. Same thing for what do you call that? Same thing for New York, right? You're gonna see this move like that, right? And then you have what do you call that? You have a high and you have a low from London, right? And then it sweeps, right? And then gives you a CISD, you enter the trade for 1:2, same thing, right? So I know some of you would be asking, like, what if it sweeps London and then sweeps Asia and then goes up? That's even better, because either ways you will definitely get a sweep unless the price just consolidates the whole session, right? So with that being said, I hope you guys understand the trade. So let's go into the live market. I'm just going to show you a few examples because I believe the video is super long already, right? So yeah, let's just go to the market since we're already at 3 o'clock, right? I'll just show you this as an example. So again, I'm on FX replay. I don't know what's going to happen. Well, let's just see, right? I'm just going to go up to 3 o'clock so it's easy. All right. So we're going to mark out first, which is what time is Asia? 10, right? So we're going to mark from 10, right? 10 o'clock. Let's mark it out in blue, 10 to 3, right? So when I say 10 to 3, you're not going to mark exactly at 3. You're going to mark at 2:57, right? Because 2:57 candle is from 2:57 to 3 o'clock. So 3 o'clock closes there. So we mark at there, all right? Same thing for the end of, what is it called? London, right? So it's 8, so you mark it at 7:57. Yeah. 7:57. All right, let's change that to red. And last but not least, it's end of New York, right? Same thing, 12:57. I'll mark that in black, right? I'll mark it in black. Okay, so oh sorry, yeah, correct, 8 to 12. All right, cool. So we're on the 3 minute. We're waiting for a trade, right? What else what are we missing? We're missing our highs and the low. So we have already marked it. We are going into London. So let's see what happens, right? Cool. We have swept our Asia low, right? Now we're gonna see what happens. Do we have an inversion? We have an inversion candle right here, but we didn't get inverse, right? The body didn't close. Body didn't close, so we're not taking that trade. Let's see what happens next. Oh, we have an inversion right here, right? We can take the trade there, right? But remember what I said. This is an aggressive trade, right? So, pointer that I can tell you if you're gonna take inversion trade, right? You can take it, but risk lesser, right? And as you can see here, if you were to take that inversion, you would have lost, right? You would definitely have lost. And something to, maybe I can give you a pointer on taking inversion trades, all right? When you see inversion trades, right, we want it to move up quick. We don't want it to like go down, take some time and then go up and close the inversion. We want it to move up quick. Like for example, right, I think we have an inversion. Yeah, we have a fair value gap here, right? So if the next candle if the next candle closes, I call this super clean. Like it just closes within 2 candle. It formed and then it closed, right? I would rather take this than the previous one where it played around and then closed, right? So that is a pointer that you can keep for inversion entries. All right, so we have an entry here. We take it here. stop loss here, right? So now we're gonna mark our take profit level. How do we mark that? Remember what I said, where would your CISD entry be, right? This is the last up move before the down move made, right? So this low swept this low, the previous low. So this was the up move, this was a swing high. So where's my CISD? The last up move before the down close candle. So this would be my CISD, right? So if let's say I'm entering a trade from here, where is my 1:2? Cool. Wow, that's super huge, right? So this is my 1:2, right? And let's say I don't want to enter on a CISD. I want to enter on this. Sorry. I want to enter on the inversion, right? So this is my inversion. Look at it. From 1:2, I am now trading a 1:3. So let's take an entry there. Let's buy and let's see what happens, right? Cool. We are already super huge, right? So in this case, right, it broke past your CISD and went super high. Will you enter the trade there? No, you're definitely not entering the trade there, right? What you can do, right, you can mark where your CISD is, mark the low again, and wait for a re-entry, right? He has to retest the CISD. So let's take a look at both of this, right? Let's see what happens. Cool. It came down, it retested your CISD. So if you were taking a CISD entry, you would be in also. And let's look at it, and it went up, guys. It just super flew up, and let's see what it taps. Yeah, it tapped, right? It tapped. You would have gotten a 1:3, and look at our profits at the bottom left is 56k. Okay. Another thing you can do, right? Since this is called the session maker, look at what is it doing now? It's sweeping the highs, right? It's sweeping the highs. So what can you do? And it's still in the session. And remember the rule, right? It's not yet 7 o'clock. So we can still enter a trade if we have a trade, that is, right? So let's see, right? Yeah, we had an entry. Can you guys spot the entry? We swept Asia high. This was the last down move before it made the up move. So that was a CISD. We don't have a inversion gap. So that was the CISD. Let's say you enter on the retest, swings above the top, and you aim a 1:2. And look at that. That was another entry, guys. It was simply another entry before we reverse up, and yeah, we just totally smashed it, right? So now it went higher, right? And it gave a inversion. So will you take this trade? Right? We made inversion. Let's say we aim a 1:2. Let's see whether it plays out, right? Aha, we nearly hit stop. We hit stop loss. So why did we hit stop loss? Remember what I said, right? This entry was after 7 o'clock. And look what happened. The reason why I say don't trade 1 hour before is because the session is going to close. So what would happen logically in the next session? It will try to break the high, right? Because it's near the high. That is why. Alright, cool. So that's why we don't take the trade 1 hour before session. And I believe I already went through everything. So maybe I can, let me just see whether we have anything here, right? And another thing, right? The moment a session gets swept and then goes down, right? But you hit a stop loss and then it goes higher, you can still take a re-entry. Like for example, like let's say this is not yet 7, right? You took a trade here, you didn't go to your TP and it just goes higher, and then it gives you another entry, you can still take the trade. But if let's say it goes up, sweeps, you take an entry, hits your TP, and then goes back higher, you're not supposed to take a trade again, right? Simply put, once you enter a trade the first time and you win, you don't take the second same kind of trade. If it sweeps the other side, then you can take. I hope you understand what I mean. Right? Like for example, this swept the high, right? Like this, right? You would have entered a CISD. If let's say you just want to do a super conservative entry, right? You would have entered here, and you would have aimed 1:2 because this is the CISD. Oops, this is the CISD entry, right? But look at this. It went completely berserk and went up again. So in this kind of scenario, you can take a re-entry when it gives another CISD. Alright. But if let's say this price was to hit your TP and then goes higher again, you're not taking a trade, right? But if it goes lower, sweeps this, then you can take a buy trade, right? Another thing is, if you were to enter a inversion gap, which was here, I believe you would have won, right? We had an inversion here, entries here, and we aim a 1:2, and tada, you won. Okay, so this is the strategy, guys. Go around, backtest it. I know it's 25 minutes. All right. Yeah, that's about it. Peace out, and hope to see you guys in the next video. And yeah, do drop a like. Join the Discord if you want.